All right, we are live. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Sizzy Talk for this Thursday with the wonderful Lydia. Let's just get into it. I am so excited to have you today. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about Amobee, and just kind of introduce yourself for our viewers.
Hi, yes. Hi, Claire. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Lidia Ruelas. I am a PR communications manager at Amobee. Amobee, it's a digital advertising company, and we focus on TV, programmatic, and social, and we help advertisers come together and create marketing campaigns for their brands.
Yeah, it is so up and coming. It's amazing. I love the company Amobee. It's such cool stuff that you guys are doing, and that's why I was so excited to bring you on today because at Sizigi, we're also trying to be innovative. We're also trying to do some new stuff. So yeah, really cool. Well, let's learn a little bit about your background. So where did you go to college, and what did you major in, and is it what you're doing now?
Yeah, so I went to college in LA. I went to Colsted LA where I graduated with communications degree. I had a minor in public relations and advertising, and I decided to pursue grad school, and I went over next door to USC. I got a master's in communication management, and this time I focused in marketing. And right now, what I'm doing in PR comms for Amobee, digital advertising company, I would say I'm pretty close to what I studied in college. It's advertising, digital advertising, and yeah, it's been great journey so far. I really enjoy it, and I can't wait what else is to come.
Yeah, I think it's so interesting. PR itself is so interesting. So many people, because I'm also studying PR, they go, what is that? What is public relations? I know there's a lot of companies that don't even have public relations departments or think that it's more about marketing or think about, can you talk a little bit how PR is different from other things?
Yeah, so PR, I would say it still falls under the marketing umbrella. PR is really more about those media relations and holding and maintaining relationships. It's key in PR. It's landing headlines in big publications like the Wall Street Journal, Ad Age, Adweek, all those good stuff. And it's really just about storytelling. So if you like storytelling and you like compelling stories and stories that resonate with your audience, then public relations is certainly for you.
Yeah. When we spoke the first time, I remember you were saying that the kind of PR you do is also a little bit different. You work very closely with like legal and like very like, following like all these different rules. Can you talk a little bit about that too?
Yeah, so with the movie, the PR team is positioned in a very unique place because we have access to different groups and different teams within the organization. So we are positioned uniquely because we get to interact on a daily basis with different teams. So it really no day is the same with the movie. And what I really enjoy is just being able to be in all parts of the projects at all times. So having that close relationship with your peers is definitely an advantage.
Yeah, definitely. And I know, like we've said before, PR is about that network, that connection, that social connection. What are your tips and tricks for networking, especially for our audience who most of us are fresh out of college or trying to kind of build our networks through LinkedIn? What are your tips for networking and kind of reaching out to meet people and build that?
Yeah, networking is key. Like we talked about it last time. I think the important thing to remember is that networking can happen anywhere at any time. So you have to really be prepared and come up with an elevator pitch. Like who are you as an individual and what are your attributes? What can you contribute to a company? So being ready with that elevator pitch. And also another key for networking is following up. And I think a lot of us forget following up and how important it is. So just not having that initial conversation, not only having that initial conversation, but also following up within a week or whenever you say that you're going to follow up. One tip that I got from one of my professors that I still use today is creating a spreadsheet, creating it as where does that sound? It's just another Excel spreadsheet, but keeping track of the context that you meet and making it a point to following up with it within it's in a month, in a year, because you never know where your next opportunity is going to come from, and it could be within your social circle. So following up and just be ready with your elevator pitch is what I would have to say.
Yeah, I think that's so great. And especially for these times where everyone's remote and everyone's from home, like we
Mhm.
have all this network, all this social media tools. So, especially through LinkedIn, making those connections and even through Sizigi, building your e portfolio and sharing it, even if you just want someone to look at it or get in, put their 2 cents in and just say, hey, you should totally add this photo. Or, yeah, I think getting connected now is more important than ever. So, those are some really good tips. Thank you. So jumping back to Amobee, because it is such a cool opportunity for you, and I'm so happy that you're there, and it's like such a cool company. What are the strengths that you've gained through working from Amobee during your time there so far?
Oh man, where do I start? Me personally, I think just adaptability. I think I joined a movie in a very unique time where there's been a lot of changes, and having the ability to adapt is really what has helped us succeed. And for me, just being able to adapt to changes, and just change really is the only constant, as one of our great leaders always said to us, and just being able to perform quickly and adapt to certain circumstances.
Yeah, especially during now. I mean, adaptability, flexibility, those are two very key components, I feel like, which actually totally leads me into another question is, how do you think COVID is changing the job world? Obviously, being in a pandemic is so new and well, not as new anymore. It's been 7 months now for many of us, but how have you seen that change like your career world?
Yeah. Well, with COVID, I think it's safe to say that companies have realized that remote work is not only doable, but it's also efficient. So I think we're going to see a transition, kind of like what Twitter is doing, and now Microsoft have announced that they're going to let their employees work from home remotely. We're going to see we're going to see a huge change and spike in the employees who are going to be working from home. So now with COVID has accelerated the fact that employees are going to be able to be working from home, having that trust and that transparency with your manager, and just trusting your employees to do get the job done. And nowadays we can work pretty much from wherever. So it's really a matter of having that conversation with your managers and having that transparency. So I believe we're going to see a huge spike in the amount of employees that are working remote moving forward.
Yeah, I totally agree. Even, most of us are doing school from home. And so that's super
Mhm.
interesting to kind of adapt to as well. But we've proven it can be done. We can get through it. And so change is okay. Like it's a good learning tool. So yeah, definitely different, but pushing through. Okay, so at Syzygy, we're all about building your e-portfolio, building your resume, building your contacts, getting to a point where everything can just be digital. And if you're trying to get in touch with a recruiter, you just click send, and all you need is your link. So when you're looking at resumes or you're looking at the hiring experience, what are your like top three things that you would recommend someone do to totally have the best advantage when they're applying for a job?
Yeah, I think nowadays we've seen the impact of social media and what that can really do to benefit you. And what I would recommend is just making sure that you have especially your LinkedIn profile up to date, using those right keywords, making sure that your photo is up to date, and that you follow up with the recruiters as well too. That would be one of the advice I would give to job seekers. And as far as recruiters themselves, I would say that they need to be more transparent and to make sure that they are clear within their expectations, to not just given the big picture and just give all the sweet talk, but also just being realistic about like how many hours are you actually going to be working? Are you going to be working weekends? Just being transparent and talking about the culture. I mean, that's going to go a long way, and it's not going to take a month or two. It's not going to take very long for an employee to realize that they weren't really been told the truth when they were applying for the job. So that would be another advice for recruiters, is just being transparent with their role and what their expectations are. And I think it's also important to remember that at the end of the day, candidates run the show. It's really all about the candidates, and to not be nervous or to not have just that fear, because at the end of the day, companies are trying to recruit talent and they're interviewing you for a reason. So show up and show up confidently, because employers really want to see that that they made the right choice in calling you back. So just keep being confident.
Yeah, that's great. I think that's so true. And especially for our e-portfolios, like our goal is we really want recruiters to see you as a whole person. How are you like? What is your personality? Are you creative? Did you build a website? You know, and I think that's a great push, and having that confidence and just being yourself is absolutely, I think, such an important aspect of applying for a job.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's jump back again. So last time you and I spoke, you gave me such incredible advice for like making that first step after college. Like it can be scary. And I know certainly for myself, I've wavered on, do I want to be marketing? Do I want to be PR? Do I want to be communications? And you gave me some great advice just like for that first job after college. And I was wondering if you would like to kind of share a little bit more about that for our audience.
Yes, of course. The advice I gave to you, and I would put it out there. I think it's really important to just understanding what it is that you want to do, just having a general idea of what it is that you want to pursue, and somehow correlating it back to your passion. What are you passionate about? And as long as you have a general overview of where you want to go, what industry you want to join, whether it's hospitality, where it's technology, human resources, having just the first step, like the first idea of where it is, and I promise you, things are just going to start falling into place once you have that first initial step of where it is that you want to go. Even if you don't have it completely figured out, that's okay. Just go ahead and just take that risk, apply for that internship, apply for that job, even if you don't think that you are qualified for it. Do it anyway. Like really, it's all about taking risks. So just my advice to college seniors that are looking for a job is just to be open for opportunity, to have a general understanding of what industry you want to pursue, and just let destiny take its course.
Yeah, that's amazing. And it was really inspiring when I heard you say that, because it's so true. Like just finding something you're passionate about and being able to mold that into a career opportunity is such great life advice. I remember you also said something to me about don't worry if your first job out of college is not your dream job or your final destination. And I thought that was so smart too, because I think in today's generations, we are so go, 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 busy, busy, busy. Like we have to have it now. You know, Prime Day was yesterday. I'm sure we all bought stuff off of Amazon yesterday and are hoping, get it on our doorsteps today. But I really love that you said that, if it's your first job out of college, if it's your first internship, if you're going to grad school and it's maybe not your final destination or your final dream job, like everything is a stepstone. And I really just thought that that was really smart, especially for like in today's society where you just want to be there. You want to be at your last destination. So that was really encouraging to hear. Well, do you have any other little tips and tricks or anything else you'd like to add? I would love to open it up to the floor for some questions. But if you would like to just kind of tell us a little bit more while we wait for some questions to roll in, maybe?
Yeah, of course. And I think we talked about this last time, but really what I want to leave my audience with is just taking risk and being comfortable with being uncomfortable. To me, that is key. And we're all guilty of it. We don't like being in uncomfortable situations. We shy away from that, but we're never really going to grow as an individual and as professionals if we don't put ourselves in uncomfortable situations, because really that's the opportunity that we're going to grow and that we're going to learn to come out of our box that we tend to hide in.
Yeah, I love that. That line stuck with me the most. After we had our first phone call, I was like, oh my goodness, that is like the most like comforting thing to hear, even though it is scary. It is that like moment of like, I don't know if I can do this, but yeah, that is where true growth shines. So absolutely. Well, let's see. Just waiting for any questions to roll in if anyone has any for Miss Lydia, but Yeah, I'm just so excited to have you here. I know Amobee's amazing. I looked into the company a lot, and our director of marketing, Alex, actually knows you and said you are amazing as well. And she says hi. So that was just a fun little connection for us at Sizigi.
What a small world. Yeah, I believe she worked with our boss, Nick. Yeah, it just shows what a small world the digital world is.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, all that PR, marketing, networking, it all comes full circle. Absolutely. Okay. Well, if there are no more questions, Lydia, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to speak with us. I know you're a very, very busy woman, but we appreciate you so much. And I just hope, oh, we have a question from Tony. Tony, he is our CEO here at Sizigi, and he's awesome. So his question is, what has your biggest PR moment been? Oh, that's a great question.
Good question. I would have to go back to my intern days, interning at a PR agency. And as an intern, you're brand new to PR and the communications world, and pitching was definitely something nerve-wracking, something new to me. But I remember working on this story, and I just pitched it away, and it got picked up by Forbes, actually. So as an intern, having a piece of coverage by Forbes was probably one of my milestones as an entry level. So just getting those little wins, it really just compensates all the hard work and all the stress that you put in. So just finding that bottom line and that end goal, I think, is really that's the driver and that's the motivator. So for me, that has been my biggest PR moment, because as an intern, you're brand new, but having that piece of coverage makes you just realize, what, like, I can actually do this. It's not too scary. Big things are coming.
Wow, that's huge. Congrats. I can't even imagine what that must have felt like. That's what an accomplishment, especially for so young. That's amazing. Yeah. We have another question, actually. This question is, hello, what advice would you give to a recent college graduate looking for a mentor in their field?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think leveraging all your resources that your college provides to you, I think that is key. If there is any mentorships opportunities, if there's any clubs that you can join, even reaching out to your professors or your peers. Teachers love to be there for their students, so I would highly encourage you to reach out to one of the professors of class that you really enjoyed, or somebody that you connected with, and just asking them for their advice. People love helping people, so don't be shy. Don't feel like you are being a burden. People actually enjoy helping individuals. So just putting yourself out there and just asking for help. I think that's the first step.
Yeah, that's a great advice. It's so funny. When I was still on campus for Loyola Marymount University, I was a tour guide for a little bit. And some of my best networking days were just meeting these parents on tours. And they'd be like, oh, I work here at this place, or I work there at that place. And it was just a great opportunity for me to network with people. So yeah, you never know who you're going to find, but anyone could be on campus, whether you, like you said, a professor or your career center, all great resources. Absolutely. Okay, well, I think that is all the time we have for today. But Lydia, thank you so much for coming on this morning. You are amazing. Everyone, feel free to connect with Lydia, if you have any questions. And yeah, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday.